Imagine the arsonist showing up at the burning building with a garden hose and shouting, "Guys, why is it still hot in here?" That's Cyril Ramaphosa this week, writing in his presidential newsletter, telling Shoprite, Pick n Pay, Woolworths, and the rest of South Africa's grocery stores to make food cheaper. Yes, the same man who presides over a collapsing economy is now blaming supermarkets for the costs of living. Let's get into it. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Newsflash. I'm your host, Emilio. Thanks for tuning in. Apparently, Cyril thinks that if he guilt trips the CEOs of grocery chains, the economy will suddenly start behaving like it's under hypnosis. You are getting very affordable milk. So here's what happened. In his weekly letter, Ramaphosa called on major retailers, Shoprite, Pick n Pay, Woolworths, Spar, and Massmart, to do more to bring down food prices and avoid cartel behavior. Because apparently, when inflation rises, Cyril doesn't look at his economic policies or the cost of diesel. No, he looks at the guy selling cabbage and says, "Hey, you there, peasant, fix it."
Oh, what a hypocrite!
He even acknowledged that retailers are under pressure. Things like rising transport costs, electricity problems, droughts, and global disruptions, but still said the private sector has a responsibility to ensure affordable food. In other words, he knows why it's expensive, but he's decided to ignore that part and write a moral essay about capitalism instead.
Is he serious?
Now, Cyril did bring up one fair point. Price fixing, cartels. He said some businesses collude to inflate prices. Sure, that happens. And the Competition Commission has caught a few. But here's the catch. They're mostly small cases, like one oil producer paying 1 million rand fine or something like that. Meanwhile, Eskom was losing 1 billion rand a day at one point and nobody went to jail for that.
Why?
So it's rich, pun intended, for the ANC to lecture anyone about anti-corruption or anti-competitive behavior when they've had a monopoly on South African misery for 30 years. And let's talk reality. Food isn't expensive because Shoprite hates poor people. It's expensive because the ANC has turned South Africa into a high-risk, low-growth, load-shedding carnival where every step in the food chain costs more. Step 1, farming. Farmers pay extra for diesel, fertilizer, and now private security because when delivery trucks break down, they don't just get repaired, they get looted. Truck hijackings are so common that insurance premiums and security costs skyrocket. And who pays for that? You, when you buy bread. Step 2, transport. Every time petrol goes up, so does food. Why? Because that chicken didn't walk itself to Woolworths. It came on a truck. And when the government raises fuel levies or can't stabilize the rand, transport companies raise their rates. And step 3, storage and power. Load shedding means supermarkets spend millions running backup generators to keep food cold. That electricity isn't free, and yet Cyril still acts surprised that the cost of a tin of beans has gone up. Let's not forget the policies that got us here. The ANC's obsession with black economic empowerment, cater deployment, and racial quotas has scared away investors. Businesses have to spend more to comply with red tape than to actually innovate. Then there's the VAT blunder. Earlier this year, the ANC-led GNU tried to raise VAT to 17%. That would have made every single product, including food, more expensive. The idea was so bad that even the EFF and DA teamed up to block it. Think about that for a second. When Julius Malema and John Steenhuisen agree on something, you know it's catastrophic. And yet the ANC still wanted to frame themselves as heroes of the poor. We tried to raise the VAT to help you, but we'll just blame the grocery store. And then it backfires.
Shocker.
And let's give the president a free crash course. Prices in a free market are determined by supply, demand, and stability. If the rand collapses, imports get more expensive. If power cuts stop production, supply goes down. If the government scares off investors, the economy slows. The rand weakens and prices go up again. You can't fix that with a press release. That's like trying to solve hunger by tweeting a picture of pop. If Cyril really wants cheaper groceries, he should start by creating conditions where businesses can operate efficiently. Safe transport, affordable fuel, consistent electricity, less red tape, and policies that reward productivity instead of political loyalty. Instead, we get more committees, commissions, and letters to the nation, which at this point are less like leadership and more like a monthly newsletter from a delusional CEO of a failing company. Imagine this. You live in a house where the landlord never fixes the pipes. The roof leaks, the lights don't work, and there's a raccoon living in your fridge. Then one day the landlord shows up, knocks on the door, and says, "You really need to clean up more." That's Cyril Ramaphosa, lecturing Shoprite. The economy is drowning in sewage, but instead of fixing the plumbing, he's yelling at the janitor.
This is dictatorship at the highest.
Here's the brutal truth. South Africa's food crisis isn't about greed. It's about governance. Retailers can't lower prices if their operating costs are being inflated by corruption, crime, and collapsing infrastructure. They're barely surviving the ANC's economic circus. The president's attempt to sound like the people's champion only exposes how disconnected he is from the reality his party created. Here's my take. This isn't about grocery stores. It's about a government desperate to shift blame as South Africans lose faith in their leadership. Ramaphosa is trying to play moral referee in a game where his team has been fouling the economy for decades. The real cartel is political. It's the one that keeps South Africa poor, dependent, and divided, while pretending to be the savior. If the ANC truly cared about affordability, they'd step aside and let actual competence run the show. Because markets can fix themselves, corruption can't. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to help me uncover the truth behind land grabs in South Africa, please head on over to the BackaBuddy campaign linked in the description and pinned comment. If 4,000 people donated 50 Rand, we would hit our goal. If you prefer to donate via EFT, those details are also in the pinned comment and description. You can also find out more information on stolenground.co.za. And don't forget to comment below, what do you think about Cyril telling the grocery stores to keep the prices down? And no matter which platform you're watching this episode on, please drop a like, a follow, a subscribe, share the video far and wide. I've got more content coming your way, and with all that being said, thanks for watching. Your Newsflash is in.